So hello guys, welcome to the short revision series of this channel, and today's topic is Kelvin cycle or C3 cycle. In this whole series we are going to cover up the most important chapter of the NEET biology and the whole only NCERT level, not outside, only NCERT level. So let's start the today's topic. So the Kelvin cycle, as we all know, was discovered by Melvin Kelvin with the help of C14 radioactive isotope of carbon. As the NCERT itself says, pathway operated in a cyclic manner and also occurs in all photosynthetic plants, which means there is no exception, and also it occurs in all photosynthetic plants. Now the first step of Kelvin cycle, which is known as carboxylation. Also the carboxylation word itself denotes that it involves CO2, and also NCERT says it's the most crucial step of the Kelvin cycle. Now let's understand the topic whole. So here comes the RUBP, which is a ribulose 1,5-bis phosphate, which is a 5-carbon ketose sugar. 5-carbon ketose sugar. It involves one molecule of CO2 from atmosphere and undergoes the first step of carboxylation. So 5 carbon plus 1 carbon equals to 6 carbon, which means the organic compound which we get, the stable organic compound which we get, is a 3-phosphoglycerate, which is a 3 carbon, not sugar, it's an acid. 3 carbon, as we know, there's the 6 carbon, so we will get the 2 molecule of 3-phosphoglycerate. It's the first step, which is known as carboxylation. Now moving on to the second step, which is known as reduction. It needs 2 ATP and 2 NADPH for this process. In the second step, we need 2 ATP and 2 NADPH to convert 3-phosphoglycerate into triose phosphate. As the name itself denotes, triose, which means 3 carbon. It's also a 3 carbon but sugar. Here 3PGL तो acid है, but यहाँ पर triose phosphate is a sugar. Now 3 carbon into 2 molecule equals to 6 carbon. Now in the moving on to the third step, which is known as regeneration. Here comes the most twisted part, that 3 carbon into 2 equals to 6 carbon. Here 1 carbon leaves the process. 1 carbon leaves the Kelvin cycle and come outside, and the remaining 5 carbon undergoes the third step, which is known as regeneration. And also it's also a very useful process, because if it discontinues here, the whole cycle is not performed. So triose phosphate, which is now 5 carbon, regenerate to form RUBP itself for the cyclic process. So triose phosphate, which is now a 5 carbon after 1 carbon leaving the cycle, it's a 5 carbon compound which undergoes the third step, which is known as regeneration. Also it needs 1 ATP to form RUBP. It's the whole process. Now if we summarize the whole process, for 1 carbon dioxide fixation we need 3 ATP. How 3 ATP? 2 ATP from this reduction process and 1 ATP from regeneration process, and 2 NADPH, which comes from reduction process. Here 2 ATP, 2 NADPH and 1 ATP, which means 1 carbon fixation needs 3 ATP and 2 NADPH. Now if we want a glucose or sucrose, which is a 6 carbon compound, we need 6 cycles of Kelvin cycle. 6 cycle of Kelvin cycle equals to 1 molecule of glucose. So for 6 carbon dioxide fixation we need 18 ATPs. How 18 ATPs? 2 here and 1 here. 6 3s are 18. 6 3s are 18 ATP and 6 2s are 12 NADP. That's the whole process of Kelvin cycle. And here if we talk about the NCERT lines, here it says 2 molecule of ATP for phosphorylation and 2 NADPH for reduction to triose phosphate. And regeneration also, it says the regeneration step require 1 ATP, as I said earlier, 1 ATP for converting it to RUBP. So it's an also crucial step if cycle is to continue uninterrupted, as I said. Now here says to make 1 molecule of glucose 6 tons of cycle are required, and on the behalf of 6 tons it need 18 ATPs, 12 NADP, and it's a important question. And if we talk about, and also I'm gonna make about 5 questions at the end of the video, and you need to solve this. Thank you guys. Radhe Radhe.